My name is Jan, and welcome to Cinemind. Developing the newest Mad Max film had been a long time coming for director George Miller. He had tried to get it off the ground for decades. The production collapsed in 2001. It stalled again in 2010, but in 2012 it finally happened. Warner Bros. Secured funding. The desert was waiting, the cameras would roll. But before a single frame could become a film, one crucial decision had to be made. Who should edit it? There were plenty of experienced action editors in Hollywood. People who had cut explosions before. People who understood the language of modern blockbuster spectacle. Maybe even a lifelong Mad Max fan who would have the necessary respect for the franchise. But Miller didn't choose experience. He chose Margaret Sixel. His wife, his longtime collaborator. An editor who had never cut an action movie before. On paper, it seemed like a strange decision. But that was exactly the point. Miller has said that if the film had been edited by the usual kind of guys, it might have looked like every other action movie. He didn't want repetition. He didn't want habit. He wanted a different set of instincts, even describing it as wanting to see action through the eyes of a woman. Not because explosions need a softer touch, but because different perspectives can shape a movie's rhythm and focus. For decades, large-scale action cinema had been cut almost exclusively by men. And over time, that shaped the genre's language. Sixel was hesitant. The scale intimidated her. She wasn't sure she was the right person for something this massive. But she said yes. And then the real challenge began. For 8 months, the crew shot in the Namibian desert. By the end, they had accumulated 470 hours of footage. During production alone, the editing team received 10 to 20 hours of material every day. It took 3 months just to watch it all at once. For many editors, that amount would be overwhelming. But this is where Sixel's real strength emerged. George Miller has said in an interview that very few people can move seamlessly between the micro and the macro, between obsessing over the detail of a single cut and understanding the flow of the entire film. Sixel could do both. She could trim frames off a reaction shot and then step back and feel whether the film as a whole was evolving. And she had something else. A complete intolerance for boredom. While others in the editing room might have been captivated by explosions or shots of the V8 Interceptor, Sixel kept asking a simple question. Does this move the story forward? If a moment didn't progress emotionally, it was cut. If a shot repeated information, it was gone. Every sequence had to build. No fat. No repetition. She refused to let the film become just a string of spectacular stunts. She searched for faces, for reactions, for moments that humanized the chaos in the middle of high-speed destruction. She allowed grief to linger. She paused for respect. She protected the characters. That's where the perspective becomes visible. In a nearly wordless film, editing becomes emotion. There are no speeches to explain motivation, no exposition to guide the audience. The rhythm of cuts, the placement of faces, the breathing space between impacts is a big part of the storytelling. Her approach aligned perfectly with Miller's philosophy on set. He constantly told his crew to put the crosshairs on the action. Keep important visual information centered. Make sure the audience always knows where to look. Cinematographer John Seal shot with multiple angles and centered compositions, giving Sixel the freedom to cut quickly without sacrificing clarity. Interestingly, she didn't rely heavily on the thousands of storyboards that had guided the production for years. Shooting in Namibia had forced changes. Scenes didn't always match the plan. Instead of forcing the footage to obey the storyboards, she trusted what was actually there. She let the material guide her. And because she and Miller already understood each other's creative instincts, professionally and personally, the editing room became a place of refinement rather than conflict. The result wasn't just a decent action movie. Mad Max Fury Road became a milestone for the genre. It revitalized the franchise. It won Margaret Sixel an Academy Award, a BAFTA, and the American Cinema Editors Award. And on top of that, the film proved something. Sometimes innovation doesn't come just from doing something louder or faster. Sometimes it comes from stepping outside of tradition, from bringing a perspective the genre hasn't been shaped by before. Not because it's female, not because it's different, for the sake of difference, but because when you remove habit, you see more clearly. And in a genre built on chaos and speed, clarity can be revolutionary.